Hey guys, this is Chris from CJ's Pianos. I thought I've already done a rather extensive video on some of the innovations of the Hailun, but one topic that I kind of had to rush through was the termination point on the upper end of the Hailun uprights string. So let me just run through a few of those ideas and try to make it a little bit shorter than last time, so you don't click to go to the next video. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera. Right here we're going to start in the bass. These are really nicely designed A-graphs. And what this does is it creates a nice uniform down bearing across each of the strings, because the top part of the A-graph here, let me see if I can get this part up here, is pulling the strings down at a uniform height from the tuning pin, so that when it comes out the other side, they're all at the same angle going to the actual termination point right there. So that's where the sound vibration is supposed to mostly stop. Okay, so we've got that, and it's uniform across all these great bass strings here. They use a high quality wire. The windings are nicely done. It gives it a very rich sound, especially for an upright piano. Now I'm going to take you over to the tenor section. This is like the middle of the piano where we're doing most of our playing, right? And so for most people obviously I've left some fingerprints there from working on it. The brass rail there is rather important. It's a larger diameter than what we see in the treble, which I'll show you in a minute or so. The importance of this is that it's a softer metal, so the tenor notes don't sound as brittle. The bass notes really like to move a lot. If you were comparing them to something, I'd say they're kind of like a giant yacht parking in they're pulling into the dock. They need a rather large dock, right? And these are more like your little fishing boats, right? If you try to park them where you park a yacht, you're gonna have to climb up a ladder. There's just too much space. So those bass notes are actually moving a lot more, even though they're moving a lot slower as far as the frequency goes. These tenor notes, they need a little more support, but they want to be able to move, and they still want to be able to move a certain extent. And as you climb higher, you need a much smaller tolerance. So what we end up then is coming up to this. Let me see if I can. Back to the. Nope, that doesn't really help for visual. Let me just pull this end out. Okay. So here we've got a stainless steel rail. That's the termination point, right? And this is a much harder metal than the brass, and there's a much shorter distance between the top and the if you look down, you can see the bridge is right there. These notes are much shorter. They need more stiffness. So the shorter the note, or the higher the note, the shorter the string, and the much stiffer support system it needs. And that helps to really pronounce those higher partials and give you the ringing tones that last. It's one thing to create the note, it's another thing to make it last long enough that you can actually call it a sustained note. Otherwise you end up repeating the same note over and over just to maintain the sound. This, very clear, you can play whispering tones on it, very soft, and it also supports the loud notes, of course. Just about every piano can play loudly. It's when you're trying to play pianissimo that you need these little details taken care of. Alright, thank you very much.